Welcome to Asiaone presents Let's Make India Great, Viksit Bharat at 2047, a series aligned with the Indian government's roadmap to realizing the vision of a developed India by 2047, marking a century of independence. This series highlights the essence of the Viksit Bharat initiative, fostering inclusive growth and ensuring every citizen contributes to the nation's advancement. We're pleased to introduce you to our next guest, Dr. Vishal Warke. Dr. Vishal Warke is the Director of R&D in Animal Cell Culture, Immunology, Plant Tissue Culture, and Hydroponics at Hyde Media Laboratories Private Limited. He's a visionary leader in biotechnology who has transformed the landscape of cell culture, diagnostics, and sustainable agriculture. With over 2 decades of innovation, he has pioneered critical advancements into vaccine media, COVID-19 diagnostics, and hydroponic systems. Recognized with the prestigious Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council Innovator Award, his work continues to drive progress in science and healthcare. Dr. Warke, it's a pleasure to have you join us in studio.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Viksit Bharat, or the vision of a fully developed India by 2047, a century after independence, is very personal to us. But in your professional capacity, sir, what role do you anticipate that the biosciences sector will play in making that vision materialize?
The key pillars of a Viksit or a developed nation are the bioeconomy, which forms the backbone, and it should be 10% of the total economy by then. And what do we have in the bioeconomy? We have agriculture, we have healthcare, food, pharma, all these things put together.
Absolutely.
So the Indian government has come up with a wonderful plan known as the Bio E3 policy. In the Bio E3 policy, they are covering 3 key areas for a nation to prosper and develop: employment, ecology, and economy. And there are 6 thrust areas in this. The first is bio-based chemicals and enzymes. Along with that, you have functional foods and smart proteins.
Sure.
And then you also have precision biotherapeutics. Then you have resilient agriculture with carbon capture and utilization, and advanced and futuristic space and marine research. And this is covered by 2 bulwarks. One is public-private partnership, and another is international cooperation.
I see.
And the underlying fundamental ethos is primarily governed by bio-AI, which is artificial intelligence hubs all over the nation to execute these 6 thrust areas, along with biofoundries or biomanufacturing areas with HR and governmental cooperation, interdepartmental cooperation. And if you look at some numbers, what we have is in 2014, the bioeconomy of India was $10 billion. And today, in 2025, it's $165 billion. So it's a 16x growth.
Staggering.
It's a staggering growth. And if you look at any developed nation, it should have 10%, as I already mentioned, of the general economy or the GDP. So 25 trillion by Viksit 2047 means we need to have a 10%, which is $2.5 trillion of bioeconomy.
Sure.
So from 165 billion to 2,600 or 2,500 billion is a 20x growth, which is slated to happen in the next 22 years. So we are looking at explosive growth ahead.
How has the pandemic essentially influenced your approach to R&D at High Media, sir? Be very curious to understand that.
That's a very pertinent question. And the key learnings we had was speed and collaboration. That is one critical area. And rapid scale up.
Sure.
For example, before COVID, we were manufacturing the viral transport media in India. We were the only manufacturer in India of these kits when COVID hit. We were producing something like 500,000 or 5 lakh kits, tests, you could say, tests per annum.
Sure.
But we got a call from the DPIIT, and they said that the Prime Minister's office is in touch with them and we need to report to them, because incidentally, we were the only company in the nation that was manufacturing the viral transport media VTM kits.
Incredible.
So for the first 3 months, they said you need to ramp up because you have to support 140 crore people, and nothing was coming into the country because of all the embargoes. So we ramped up from 5 lakh kits, 5 lakh tests per day, 5 lakh tests per annum,
right,
to 5 lakh tests per day.
It's phenomenal.
And here the second lesson is one has to be very flexible, one has to be very agile, and one has to think out of the box. So essentially, instead of using the regular tubes that were not available, what was readily available were the vacuum tender tubes. We moved on to those. So we were able to succeed and do a lot of things at that time because of another thing that we had, and this is something we need to also inculcate going ahead, is cross cross-functional or cross-trained teams. So the teams need to have cross-functionality and cross-training so that they can move from one sphere of activity to the other if needed at very short intervals. And a very critical lesson that all of us learned is to each his own. Because when it really mattered and counted, everybody wanted to do their own thing. Nobody wanted to reach out and help. So we need to have supply chain resilience, we need to have supply chain independence, and we should be able to not only make the final product in our country, but also the intermediates, and if possible, go backward integrate up to raw material. Once we do all this, we will be in a very good situation.
When you think about the environmental impact of laboratory-based research or laboratory-based production processes, how does that factor into your priority list at High Media?
So High Media has always believed in sustainability and in working for a green planet, because this is the only home we have. There are a lot of initiatives that we have taken. Some very basic initiatives that we have taken are, we have set up a 3.3 megawatt solar plant, which has helped us to offset and get a lot of the carbon credits, also to reduce the carbon footprint by doing sustainable electricity generation. So we have a platinum LEED certified main headquarter today. We use a lot of sustainable packaging and reusable materials, and we are trying to move towards that consciously. We are also a ZLD, or a zero liquid discharge facility, where we try not to have any effluents going out, but try to use them internally and make it a ZLD plant, as it's called, a zero liquid discharge.
Sure.
And we have some thrust areas, which now I can actually enumerate, where we have created something really remarkable, I would say. So in microbiology, basically people use peptones, or these are meat products that come from beef primarily, because when these media or microbiology media, which are used in microbiology testing, analysis and so forth, were developed, they were developed by Robert Koch, Louis Pasteur. These are people from Europe, and they were used to eating beef and using that as a primary protein source. So what we did was we created an equivalent alternative where we have taken proteins from the plant kingdom. India is blessed with millets and so many types of grains. So we actually made blends of different grains and millets, and the proteins from these sources have equivalent or better performance than the animal based. So we have saved so far, based on the calculations that we have done, 3.5 million kilograms of carbon dioxide has not been released because we have used vegetable sources.
Well, sir, I hope that all of the engineers, researchers and entrepreneurs in the biotech space are certainly listening. And I want to congratulate you and applaud you for all your efforts to date. Thank you for sharing such a rich range of anecdotes with us from your personal and professional journey alike. So as we close this episode of Asia One Presents Let's Make India Great Viksit Bharat at 2047, we'd like to remind our viewers the essence of the Viksit Bharat initiative. That is fostering inclusive growth and ensuring every citizen contributes to the nation's advancement. Through this series, we'll keep meeting remarkable individuals who are shaping India's future and setting global benchmarks. So stay tuned.